Hey everybody, welcome back to Barbecue by Biggs. I'm Aaron, and tonight we're doing an overnight pork butt cook. That's right, we have an event coming up. We got to get the food ready, but we still got to get some sleep. Let me show you how to do it. So we're cooking for an event tomorrow, but we got to get some sleep too. So we're gonna get these pork butts rubbed up and get them on this pit. And then you know what? We're gonna go to sleep. So let me bring you in here and let me show you how we're gonna do these pork butts. So we got these pork butts out of the package, patted dry and ready to put on our binder. So you can use whatever binder that you use normally on a pork butt. We use yellow mustard. We're gonna take that mustard and just smear that in. You won't taste that yellow mustard. Some people use mayonnaise, some people don't use any binder at all. Whatever you prefer, you do you. So we'll get that on both sides, a tad bit more there. And we're going with 2 layers of seasoning on this. We're gonna go with our chicken and pork rub first, and then we're gonna put on the honey barbecue. So remember, pork butt, pork shoulder, whatever you want to call it, is a big piece of meat. So it takes a lot of seasoning. So what we're going to do is put it on fairly thick. I'm going to go ahead and flip it up on the side and get those sides done first. And we're going to put quite a bit on here. We'll do the other side here. And then we'll go across the top. We'll just pat that in. Go ahead and flip it over. Then we'll do the same on the other side. We'll go ahead and flip that back over again. Then we'll take our honey barbecue and finish it off. Again, thick piece of meat. Don't be shy with the seasoning. All right, we'll get the other one done. That's one thing about this Drippy's tub, man. It keeps that seasoning inside there. You can make it go up, make it go down, lower it if it's in your way. Man, we don't use it as often as we should, but it definitely keeps me from making a big old mess. So we'll season up this other one, chicken and pork rub, and then put the honey barbecue and then bring you back. All right, now that we got them both rubbed up, we're just gonna let them sit here. This one's already started to sweat. We're gonna let this one go ahead and start to sweat, and then we'll get them on the pit. So we have our Yoder smoker up to 215 degrees. We've done these overnight cooks on the Yoder several times with no issues. Make sure you know your pellet grill before you do an overnight cook and know its capabilities. Also, make sure if you leave it unattended that you leave it somewhere if you have some issues, that you're not gonna burn the house down, burn the garage down, something like that. So we're gonna get this thing loaded up. We're gonna show you what we're gonna do to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe, and we're gonna cook us some pork butts overnight. All right, we're all rubbed up, ready to go on the pit. As you can tell, they're all sweated in. You can see the moisture coming out of those pork shoulders. They are ready to go on the pit. So the pit's ready, let's get it on. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take these half pans. We got these half pans that are about half full of water. We're gonna put those on this bottom rack. Just like so. So we got them filled with half of water, and then we're gonna take a cold beer. Yeah, you heard me. Cold beer. That's a nice sound, isn't it? We're gonna put half of it in one, half of it in the other one, and then we're gonna reserve a little bit for ourselves. So some of you might be thinking, why put beer in there? Because beer is not gonna give it any flavor. That's right, beer's not gonna give it any flavor, but alcohol starts to create vapor a little bit faster than water does, and it'll keep our pit moist inside. That's the only reason that we're putting that in there. Now the water on the bottom is gonna make sure that we have some protection from the heat coming up, and then we're gonna put the fat caps up on these pork butts. That way we have protection from the heat coming down. So we'll be protected both ways there. So we're just gonna take these smoking cooling racks and put one of them on each one of these pans of water. And as you can tell, it'll hold a lot of weight. So with these racks being on top of that water, what it's going to do is the vapor is going to come up around that pork butt and it's going to keep it moist. We're not going to get up in the middle of the night and spritz it or any of that. So all that's going to keep our pork butt really moist throughout the night, and it's going to make sure that it's protected. So then we'll just set those pork butts right there in the middle. And then if we have any drippings, it's going to go into the pan as well. We're not going to worry about a fire or any of that issues. So this is the best way to do an overnight cook on these pork butts to make sure that we don't have any issues. So then we're going to take this INT 12BW by Inkbird. It's got a 2-piece wireless thermometer set. We're going to stick one of them in this pork butt. We got to take it all the way down to the line. And we got the probe from the Yoder we're going to stick in this pork butt. So what we got here is we got this and this that's going to give us some alarm bells if something happens. One, if it gets to the point where they're done, it'll let us know, it'll send us an alarm. And two, it'll also let us know if there's an issue. This one here will let us know the ambient temperature inside the pit. Also, the Yoder has the fireboard in it. It'll tell us if there's a pit issue, and it'll also tell us the internal temp. So we are covered if there's something that happens during the night. If you don't have the fireboard on your pit, I would recommend one of these. It has 2 of these probes. One of them's a smaller one of them's the larger one. They're not that expensive, and I tell you what, it's got a heck of a lot of features. INT 12BW, I'll leave a link for it in the description. Let's get these set up. So you really can't see it on my phone, so I'll put it up on the screen. I'll screen record this, but you find INT 12BW, you click into it. You click in, it tells you black or the white one. We're using the black one, so we'll set that one up. We're gonna go down here. It has a bunch of different kind of recipes. We will go find us the pork shoulder. We'll put the pork shoulder. We do want to cook it to about 195 degrees. We'll click on the early warning, so 9 degrees before, it'll give us an alert. So after we've got all that taken care of, we're just gonna go ahead and hit start cooking. So we got that all set up, and then you can go in here throughout the night. I can go back and check what the trend is, kind of see how the meat performed, how my ambient temperature in my pit performed. It does a lot of things, and it'll also send me an alert when it's done. All right, we talked about the other protection. We got our fireboard open. As you can see, the pit's a little bit off because I just had it open. We're gonna click on pit. We're gonna go to pit, and we're gonna add a new alert. We're going to set up the alert. So we're going to go max temp. We're going to go 350 degrees. That way, if it goes over 350 degrees, it's going to send us an alert. Also, minimal temperature, we're going to do 160 degrees, and it'll also send us an alert. It's going to send us an app notification, email notification, a text message. We can change it to how many minutes before it repeats again. It's pretty important on this one, so about every 5 minutes it'll repeat if we don't address it. So that's done. That alert is set. You can see it right here underneath your pit temp. It shows you alert. Same thing with the probe. You can click into the probe. We'll add a new alert. Set that up. Max temp. We're going to do 190 degrees, and we'll do the email, SMS. That way everything goes off if something happens. And then we're going to repeat that one every 5 minutes as well. And then we'll get out of that, and it's ready to go. All right, everything's put to bed. We have the alarms to go off if something bad happens. And you know what? Pork butt is pretty forgiving. So if something does bad happen, usually you can fix it pretty quickly. So we can go to bed, get some rest. And you know what? When we bring you back in the morning, these things will probably almost be done. See y'all then. Good morning, everybody. The sun is out, the birds are chirping, and you know what? We had one good night of rest. No issues during the night. First thing waking up this morning, opened both of those apps to kind of see where we're at. Looked at the Inkbird. We were just about where we needed to be. Kind of looked at what our temperatures were throughout the night. Same thing with the fireboard. Opened that up, looked at it, seen how we did, and then I took the temperature to 225 degrees. Right now we're sitting at about 154 degrees. We're going to jump in here, see what they look like, and then we're going to go ahead and spritz them, and then we're going to bump that temperature up to 275 degrees until they reach an internal temperature of about 160, 165, and then we'll pan them up and foil them up. So let's jump in there and do that. All right, you're going to take the first look just like we did. We're going to get ready to spritz this. Let's see how we did. Oh, the color looks great. Still have a lot of moisture pooling over the top. You can see that they stayed moist all night. Heck, we may not even need to spritz it, but we will. Let me bring you in closer and let you take a look. That's the first one. Looking good. See if you can see that second one there because of the sun. Oh yeah. So we'll go ahead and give them a nice spritz before we turn up the heat there. Get them all good and moist. Looking good. All right, so we got that temperature bumped up to 275 degrees. We're gonna take it to about 160, 165. Then we're gonna put it in half foil pans and go ahead and wrap that in foil. Some of the things I may not have covered in the opening, these were about 7-pound pork butts, so you can get an idea of time versus weight. We put these on at 11 p.m. last night, and it's 9 a.m. this morning. So that gives you a good idea of where we're at. We're about 10 hours in on this cook. We ran at 212 degrees. I thought I set it at 215, but we ran at 212 degrees all night long with no issues. So we'll bring you guys back when we get them wrapped up. All right, I've been rolling at 275 for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. We've hit an internal temperature of about 160. We're gonna wrap these things up and get them finished up. We got a few hours before we have to have them ready for our party, so we wanna make sure that we get that done. We're gonna go ahead and put them in full pans, cover them with foil, and get them back on. Might bump the temperature up to 300 degrees or so, and get these things finished off. So let's get them wrapped. Let's take a look at them. Oh yeah, they're looking good. Let me bring you in closer. Looking good, got a good bark on them. Oh yeah, these turned out great. All right, let's get them wrapped up. So we're just taking them straight from this rack to this half pan. We're gonna leave them fat side up. And we're gonna leave the probes in them. Look, almost all the water's gone. All that's left is basically fat. Kept them nice and juicy all night long. All right, then we'll get these back on here. Give them a big heavy dose of water and apple cider vinegar, 50-50. Big heavy dose of that. All right, we got them wrapped up here, ready to go. We went ahead and left the probes in, like I said. We're gonna go ahead and close this up. We're gonna cook it at 300 degrees for the rest of the way. I'm thinking it probably should be another 1.5 hours or so, and these things should be done, but we'll bring you in when they're done. See you then. All right, we've been rolling for about another 1.5 hours. These things are done. Not a minute too soon. We got about 1 hour until our little get together. So we're gonna get in here and look at them, make sure that they're done, and get them pulled off. Let's see what they look like. All right, gonna take a thermo pin and probe them right quick. That one's 201, 203. So they are done. So let's open them up and see what they look like. Oh yeah, they're looking good. Look, they're already separating. Same thing with that one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab hold of the bone. And usually if you can just take the bone and pull on it gently, that bone comes out clean like it did, it's done. So these are done. Comes out clean, yeah, they're done. What we're gonna do now is pull them off the grill, go ahead and recover them, let them sit for about 45 minutes or so to cool down, then we'll shred it and we'll come back for a taste test. See you guys then. Looking good, and they're ready. Bone pulls out cleanly. All right, the time is finally here to get us a taste test. See if you can see this in the sun here. Got a good bark. Oh yeah, smoke intrusion was good. Got a good old smoke ring in this thing. I don't know if you can see it glistening out here in the sun, but glistening. Let's get a bite of it. Tell you what, this is some good pork butt. I hope they're as impressed as I am. We'll see. Got to get to that party. Hey, if you like our content, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next cook. I wonder if they'll miss this piece. I can't wait for it. Look at that. So good.